Welcome to renovating a Stuart 5A twin steam engine. This is part 9, finishing the job. Here's the flywheel after its second coat of paint, and it's going onto the crankshaft. It's a really good fit. This is a very well built engine. Originally the flywheel was keyed right on the end of the crankshaft, but I don't like this. If ever the engine received an impact by falling over or generally being abused, there would be a likelihood of bending the crankshaft because of the leverage on the crankshaft with the flywheel. And once the key is tapped home, I'll quickly run the engine to see how everything looks. With the flywheel being such a good fit on the crankshaft, it makes a change. It runs in a very concentric manner. The tapping noise is still there. Mind you, I am using 3-in-1 oil as a lubricant, which is very thin. If I put some steam oil on the journals, it makes it quieter, because all that's really happening is the big end is slapping at each side of the crank web. This is not to be confused with big end knock. There's not much wear at all in these bearings. Everything's in very good order. This central oil box is a really good idea for lubricating the bearings, but the oil I'm using is too thin and it's really running far too fast down the pipes. Using a thin oil is a good idea in one respect, because it does penetrate between the bearing surfaces, but if it's too thin, it just runs everywhere, and that's what's happening at the moment. Once the oil box has drained, I'll get some thicker oil. In practice, if you think about it, with this oil box between the cylinders, getting warmed up by the cylinders, steam oil would probably work quite well, as the heat of the cylinders would make it flow better, but not when running on compressed air. Mounted on each of the cylinders is a dedicated mechanical lubricator for that particular cylinder, and both of these work very well indeed. In this clip, I'm manually turning the handle on the lubricator, and you can actually feel it as the oil gets pumped into the cylinder. The mechanical lubricators are doing about 2 clicks per revolution, which seems about right. It's not over oiling the cylinders. And same as the other side, if I wind the handle by hand, then I can feel the pulse as it goes over the stroke where air is in the cylinder, where it's pumping against pressure. Time to stop playing with the engine now and get some more work done. Quite an important job is to pipe up the drain taps, so I cut 2 pieces of copper tube to length. This is 3/16 of an inch diameter copper tube, and once I've done that, I silver solder some union nipples on the end. These copper pipes are not trimmed to length. They're about 6 inches longer than they need to be, and this is to allow me to get my hand on them to bend them near the ends. So I've bent the first bit, the bit that goes to the tap, and now I have to follow it down and bend the bit at the other end. This video's really speeded up, and you can see how many times I fit and refit the part till I get it exactly right, and when it looks like this, it's exactly right. So here are the 2 pipes. I put a temporary brass collar on, but I didn't like the look of that. I've got a better idea. So one side done, and I'm now doing the second half. Exactly the same principle, many fits and refits until I get it to look right. It needs something to hold the 2 pipes together like this, so they're up against the column. And I was going to use a piece of boiler banding, but that looked a bit too fussy. So what I'm going to do instead is measure the centres, and you can't see but my left hand is actually holding the pipes together, and the centres are at 1/2 inch. I just made 2 brass pieces to hold the pipes together, and then I soldered them to the pipes, so you could take the pipes off and they will retain their shape. Here's a close-up shot of the lubricator for the cylinder, and as I said, it goes past 2, but sometimes it goes past 1 ratchet, but either way it's lubricating the cylinder perfectly. I like steam engines very much because they're such weird contraptions. I mean, just look what's going on here. Little ratchets and wheels all working in harmony. It's quite mesmerising to watch. There's nothing like sitting on a Friday afternoon in your workshop with a video camera, watching little pieces of mechanics working. Well, actually, I can think of things that are far more exciting than this in many different ways, but as this is a video about steam engines, I will stick to the subject. Just lately I seem to be getting quite a lot of work in on the refurbishment and rebuilding of steam engines front, and I like doing this very much. This is a hobby that I turned into a small business, pretty much like some of my other small businesses, like my video business. And of course my recording studio that I've had for many years. That will get very busy midsummer, so there might be a bit of a gap in the videos, but don't worry, it won't be permanent. Another project coming shortly. This is a Stuart 5A that needs a lot of attention, I know it looks okay, but as you can see there are broken parts on it, and I have a suspicion that the crankshaft may not be perfect. Anyway, this is going to be on the bench soon, and I look forward to removing the Mammoth green paint and painting it a proper colour. Not forgetting the ongoing project, this vintage steamboat that I'm rebuilding. This is a great old boat that's going to be given a complete new lease of life. The engine's already in, the prop shaft's shortened, the boiler's ready to fit, but there's still a lot of work to do at it. And now that I've completed the twin Stuart 5A renovation, I'll be spending a lot more time on this rebuild. And yes, finally I'm going to do it. I'm going to show how I machine a model steam locomotive wheel. I've done quite a few of these over the years. That's it for now. Thanks for watching the series, and I hope you found it useful.